This is the Open University.
Welcome to the Open University. I'm going to do a slightly different type of video this time than I usually do. I'm back in Berlin and I've been working on music, but it's for a kind of private commission. I haven't really been out in the city yet. I've been dreading the cold here, the freezing weather. But I thought I'd take the camera out with me and give a little reaction to the absorption of the personality of the city by my personality, or rather the synergy or lack of it. I'm in two minds about whether to go up to the centre of town. I live in the north end of Neukölln here. What I might do is I might just go to my favourite coffee shop, which is called Wüstor in Kreuzberg, which is a bit closer. And I might look at the suitably hair-shirted exhibition at the Kunstraum Kreuzberg, which is a radical art centre, which I often check out. They've got an exhibition about the clash between a radical politics of decolonisation and green and ecological policies. I tend to always pick my teeth in the morning. Excuse me. It's so satisfying. I don't know why. It's really satisfying picking your teeth when you've got higgledy-piggledy British teeth like mine. But anyway, let's go out. This is the communal property centre where people leave things they want to distribute to other flat members. Typical anomic graffiti here. It's not actually as cold as I thought it might be. One of the things I want to do today is buy some coat hangers, because I keep running out of space on my coat rails. A little local gallery. Sure sign of gentrification there. This building is actually the most gentrifying in the neighbourhood. I think it's rather well designed. Another gallery and some sort of local demon to whom one must give tribute. I don't think I will. Tote bags for 35 euros. It's kind of extraordinary because last time I was here this was like a forest. I mean, not quite, it was a building site, but they've put up these new flats here very fast. Definitely the neighbourhood changing into a new kind of Mitte or Prenzlauer Berg here. The dead season of winter. In summer one might be sitting down here with one's friends. Now it's not quite snowed over yet, but it must have been iced at some point. So we're on the Maybachhofer now. And I'm kind of glad that the city still has Lime scooters to rent. I think that's a new cafe, Queer and Friends Dashoven, it says. Oh, once read True Confessions of an Albino Terrorist by Brayton Breitenbach, a South African communist. It's the non-English books which are the most interesting and dangerous. So we're now entering the Reuterkiez, which is my old neighbourhood. I lived here from 26 to 2010. And I must say I do feel more at home in this neighbourhood. It's a more migrant place, more cafes, more ice cream shops. Down this strip there's 3 cafes. Tischendorf is the first one, then there's the Barn, which is a chain, but it is actually my favourite. And then there's an awful one called Katie's Blue Cat, which seems to be the most popular for what reason I don't know. I had an awful cappuccino there once. Hey,
My friend.
it's Harry, right?
It is.
Sorry,
Well, sorry, remind me your name. Remind me.
I'm Nick.
Nick, how are you, Nick?
I'm vlogging. Sorry, I'm vlogging.
How are we?
This is the barista who I chat with always when I come to the barn here, and Harry, just telling me that your dad is Japanese.
No,
Is that-
he's
no,
not
he lives in
Japanese.
Japan.
Living in Osaka.
Lives in Osaka. I spent 8 years in Osaka.
Yeah, it's an
Amazing.
interesting place. It's super close to Kyoto, and it's
It's
just like a nice.
grungy in a way that
It is.
Japan normally isn't. Yeah.
Honestly, and I think like the main thing as well is like Tokyo. I think is a very kind of like it's like the ad campaign for Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Osaka is kind of actually the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting. But yeah, it was good. But man, I want to go back so bad. Like it's ridiculous.
So you were working there? You were
Yeah,
taking
I
photographs?
was working, so I was there for like a campaign shoot for this brand, and then also I kind of got, while I was there, I was like reaching out to a bunch of other companies for like early next year. I'm gonna be going back in March, so
cool.
yeah,
Excellent.
we'll see what happens.
But that's all in Osaka. No, that's in
Kyoto.
Oh, that's in Kyoto. Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of designers are actually popping out of Kyoto these days. So.
Wow. Yeah.
Good, it should be good.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I'm keeping you from your work, but.
No, you're good, you're good. Let me have your number, by the way, so I can...
So yeah, that was Harry who always greets me when I go into the barn with, "Hey, how you doing? You're just cruising around," which I usually am in some way or other. But yeah, he's like a lot of Berlin baristas and waiters, and you know the classic situation of I'm an actor who's working in a restaurant. He's a photographer, commercial photographer, who's working in a cafe. This one going past a homeless person's tent. And a trash can saying, put the men here or kill them first and put them in the trash. Men are the problem. This bookshop is a queer-focused and sex-positive shop with art, books, gifts, decoration, clothes, jewelry, and 420 and sexual wellness. I don't know what is 420, Vielfalt. Sexual wellness promoted by mushrooms here. That's 808. Just along here is a bookshop called Zabriskie, which is concentrated on ecology and wild themes. And I have to actually do a essay for an art school in Basel. It's one of the things I'm here to do about the same theme of ecology and wild things. Magic Mushroom Grower's Guide. Having spent a good month obsessed with gardens, pot gardens, doing a balcony garden for Paris, I was inspired very much thinking about this shop, the Botanical Room, which is one of my favorite plant shops with sort of brutalist plots and things. I was trying to buy these in Paris, but I think this place is really the ideal, this kind of stuff. Actually, the first plant I bought in Paris was pretty much exactly this ficus, which is broom. I was a bit sad when I passed through here because this used to be Arabica, which is a Kyoto-based coffee chain, which I like, and now it's gone out of business. After a year it went out of business, and now it's called Bouya, and it's a ramen joint. But I used to sit a lot on the steps here when it was Arabica. So I think you can see how a grungy anti-authoritarian atmosphere is very prominent here, and how that might seep into your work when you're based here. It just does make a difference here as a head. I hate head shops though. I hate subculture. This is the new Asterix, which is doing a ton of sales in France just now. This is the German translation. And no luxury. So of course the Vue store entices you in with mirrors. So yeah, there was very good coffee prepared by an expert Japanese barista, and now I'm charged up, having drunk it very quickly, charged up enough to go and see the hair surgery of the Kunsttraum Kreuzberg. So Berlin, very much a cosmopolitan community of queers, artists and flâneurs and dandies. The home place of Jessie Darling, who just won the Turner Prize in the UK, but has not lived legally in the UK for a long time, and is also part of the queer community, I suppose one might say, having transitioned from female to male, making work about borders and incipient fascism in the UK, but would not be able to live in the UK. I think was a student there, but then moved to Amsterdam and then Berlin in search of a more liberal environment. I've been coming here as long as I've been coming to Berlin, and knew about the place even before because I watched a film in 1979 called Journeys to/from Berlin by Yvonne Rainer, which a lot of which is set in this building, the Bethanien building. It's a big art center and studio space center. There's also a music college in here, and several galleries, and an old apotheke, an old pharmacy, which has been preserved, the Theodor Fontane pharmacy. This is a little project space as well. I don't know if anything's on currently. No. This used to be redecorated for every exhibition, pretty much, this corridor, but now it's been like this for several years. They haven't ever changed it. Here's the apotheke, which is only open at certain times, but it's like a very old-fashioned German-style pharmacy. And along here is the Angry Gallery. This exhibition, as far as I read online, is about showing that ecological political movements can often be entrapped in an anti-proletarian logic, which is a kind of annoying theme, but no doubt a necessary one. It seems almost like a Gilets jaunes kind of supporting theme when you think about it. I guess this actually has a theme which I've approached in some of these videos myself, which is how there was a surprising similarity between the health culture of the Nazis with their sort of naked eurythmics, and the Kuhlewanper depicted in Brecht's film of a left-wing summer camp. The summer camp in Germany, whether you were left or right, was a similar ritual. So one of the themes here is that the colonial project said that basically being close to nature was a sign of your inferiority and your readiness to be colonized. But then at the same time, the bourgeois classes back home in Europe, who were part of this colonial process, were embracing a kind of nature worship and ecology worship and nakedness and Heilpraxis, as they call it here, whole health treatments, which seem to be coming full circle back to the colonial underdogs, lifestyles, sort of noble savage philosophy. I suppose the extreme of the ecological movement is a kind of scorched earth policy, a genocide. That book at the end, they were asking the question, how green were the Nazis, and saying it seems that they were quite green. Proportional representation, governments in Germany often see coalitions between the Greens and populist right-wing parties, which you wouldn't expect. So at the end, they're squaring the circle in the didactic text, saying that blackness and queerness can be reconciled or should be reconciled to strategies of greening. I stayed awaited. One of the more charming but also slightly dodgy areas of Kreuzberg, where they're cracking down on drug dealers, I think. Yeah, the Görlitzer Park is right next to us here on the right-hand side, and that's where you go if you want to score. So this line up the middle of the road actually marks the spot where the Berlin Wall used to be. This is very close to my flat, and it's well, the Berlin Wall is everywhere throughout Berlin. It was a real zigzaggy labyrinth. You really shouldn't vlog while riding a scooter, because they're really unstable, one-handed. Like many things in life, don't do it one-handed. This is Endorfino, which is my local eco-cafe, where ecological values correspond very much with a burgeoning and booming bourgeois class who are probably bobos, but mostly they're the proud owners of bonsai children, as I call them, because they all seem to be 3 years old. There's some kind of winter festival going on here. the actual bakery where they bake bread locally.
Open University.